No one saw them coming. The giant ships just appeared in the sky one morning. They hung over every big city on Earth like dark metal clouds. People stopped in the streets and looked up. Some ran, some screamed, some just stood still, not believing their eyes. In Seoul, South Korea, 16-year-old Ta was in the computer lab when it happened. He was always there during lunch break, working on his coding projects while other kids played outside. The first sign was when the lights flickered. Then came the shadow that fell across the room. Ta looked up from his computer screen. Through the window, he saw it, a massive ship, silver and black, hovering over the city. It was so big it blocked the sun. The school alarm went off. In the hallway, students ran in all directions. Teachers tried to keep order, but fear had taken over. Everyone evacuate. Now. The principal shouted through the speaker system. Ta didn't move. He stood at the window, watching the ship. Something about it pulled at his mind. The way its surface seemed to flow like liquid metal. The strange lights that pulsed along its sides. His phone buzzed with messages from his mother and sister. Asterisk Ta, where are you? Come home now. Asterisk wrote his mother. Asterisk big ships everywhere. School is closing. Are you safe? Asterisk wrote his sister Ian. He should leave. He knew that. But as the school emptied out, Ta stayed hidden in the computer lab, eyes fixed on the alien ship. Then came the voice. It boomed from everywhere at once, speaking in perfect Korean. People of Earth, we are the Dorans. We have come to bring you protection. Your world is now under our care. Tai felt a chill. The way they said protection didn't sound good. Outside the window, smaller ships began to descend from the main vessel. They moved in perfect formation, spreading out across the city. That's when Tai saw it. One of the small ships was flying strangely. It wobbled in the air, dropping lower than the others. Smoke trailed behind it. As Tai watched, the ship veered sharply toward the school's empty sports field. The crash shook the building. Windows rattled, and dust fell from the ceiling. When Tai looked out again, he saw the small ship half buried in the dirt of the baseball field, about 100 meters from the school building. He should stay hidden. He should call someone. That's what a smart person would do. Instead, Tai found himself walking down the empty hall, out the back door, and across the field toward the crashed ship. The closer he got, the hotter the air became. Parts of the ship glowed red from heat. A strange smell like burnt metal, and something sweet filled his nose. A section of the ship's side had split open, revealing a dark space inside. Ta stopped a few meters away, his heart beating fast. He was about to turn back when he heard it. A low moan coming from inside the ship. Someone was hurt in there. Hello, Ta called softly. Do you need help? The moaning stopped. After a moment of silence, a figure appeared at the opening. Tae's breath caught in his throat. It looked almost human, but not quite. Tall and thin with silvery skin that seemed to shimmer. Its eyes were large and completely black. Blood, or something like blood, but blue, ran from a cut on its head. The alien stared at Ta. It opened its mouth as if to speak, then stumbled forward, falling to its knees. Without thinking, Tae rushed forward and caught it before it fell face first into the dirt. The alien was surprisingly light in his arms. Its skin felt cool and smooth like metal but soft. I'm Ta, he said slowly, not sure if it could understand. You're hurt. The alien's hand moved to its temple, where a small metallic device was attached to its skin. It touched this device, then reached out and pressed its fingers against Ta's forehead. I am Krell, a voice said inside Tae's head, not through his ears, but directly in his mind. Then something strange happened. When the alien touched him, Ta felt a jolt like electricity run through his body. Suddenly, his mind filled with images, symbols, and information he didn't understand. It was too much, too fast, like downloading an entire library into his brain at once. Ta gasped and pulled back. The connection broke. In the distance, sirens wailed. More ships were coming. I have to go, Ta said, backing away. Krull watched him with those black eyes, saying nothing more. Ta turned and ran back toward the school, his head pounding with new knowledge he couldn't yet comprehend. Something had changed inside him. He could feel it. The world had changed too. And somehow, Ta knew he would never be the same again. 3 months had passed since the Doran ships first appeared in the sky. Life on Earth had changed in ways no one could have imagined. Ta sat at the kitchen table in his family's small apartment, pushing rice around his plate. His mother Ja watched him with worried eyes. "You need to eat," she said. "You're getting too thin." Ta nodded but didn't feel hungry. The headaches had been getting worse. They came without warning. Sharp pain that made him see strange patterns and symbols. "Is your head hurting again?" asked his sister Eon. At 12 years old, she noticed everything. "I'm fine," Ta lied. Outside their window, a Doran patrol ship glided by. These small ships now washed over every neighborhood. Doran administrators had taken control of the government, the police, the schools, everything. People could still live in their homes and go to work, but always under the eyes of the aliens. Ta stood up from the table. "I'm meeting Sun and Hyun at the park." His mother frowned. "Be careful. Remember the rules." The rules were simple. Don't gather in large groups. Don't stay out after dark. Don't question the Dorans. Ta grabbed his jacket and headed out. The streets were quiet. Few people went outside unless they had to. At the small park 3 blocks from home, his friends waited on a bench. Sun waved when she saw him. She had been Ta's friend since they were small children. Hyun sat next to her, his face serious as always. "You look terrible," Sun said when Ta joined them. "Thanks," Ta replied with a small smile. "More headaches?" asked Hyun. Ta nodded. He hadn't told anyone except his closest friends about what had happened with the alien, about the strange flood of information that sometimes made his head feel like it would burst. "I had another dream last night," Ta said quietly. "I saw inside their ships. I understood how their machines work. It all made sense while I was dreaming." Sun looked around nervously. "Be careful what you say out loud." She was right. The Dorans had machines that listened to everything. People who spoke against them often disappeared the next day. "It's more than dreams now," Ta said, lowering his voice. "Watch this." He focused his eyes on a small Doran drone that hovered near the park entrance. The round metal ball floated in the air, its camera eyes scanning the area. Ta stared at it hard. In his mind, he could somehow see the patterns of energy flowing through it. The drone suddenly wobbled. Its lights flickered. Then it dropped 2 meters before catching itself and flying away in an uneven path. Sun's mouth fell open. "Did you do that?" Ta nodded, wincing as pain shot through his head. "How?" Hyun asked, eyes wide. "I don't know exactly. Ever since I touched that alien, Krell, I can sort of feel their technology, like it's talking to me. And sometimes I can talk back." They sat in silence, understanding the weight of what this meant. "We should tell someone," Sun finally said. "Who?" Hyun asked bitterly. "The Dorans. The police who work for them now." As they argued, Tai spotted 3 Doran guards walking toward the park. Each wore a silver uniform and had the same neural device on their temple that Krell had. "Doran's coming," Ta whispered. The 3 friends stood up, trying to look normal. The aliens approached them directly. "Identification," the lead guard said in a flat voice. Everyone had been given ID cards with tracking chips. The 3 teenagers pulled out their cards. The Doran held up a scanner. When it reached Ta, the machine made a strange noise. The guard looked confused and hit the side of the scanner. "Malfunction," the guard said. "Try again." But when the guard scanned Ta again, all the lights on the device went dark. The neural interfaces on all 3 Dorans flickered at the same time. System error, one said, sounding confused. Return to base for diagnostic. The aliens turned and walked away, their movements suddenly stiff and awkward. Hyun waited until they were gone, then grabbed Ta's arm. That was you, wasn't it? You did something to their machines. Ta nodded slowly, surprised himself. I think so. I didn't mean to. It just happened. Do you know what this means? Sun whispered, her eyes bright with sudden hope. If you can mess with their technology, we could fight back, Hyun finished. Tai felt fear and excitement battling inside him. If he could disable Doran technology without even touching it, he might be able to help free Earth. But the Dorans would be looking for whatever caused their systems to fail. He was now the most valuable and most hunted person on the planet. And he was just 16 years old. A week after the park incident, Tai and his family went to the city market. Food was getting harder to find. The Dorans gave out rations, but it was never enough. Stay close, Jia told her children as they moved through the crowded market. Tai noticed more Doran guards than usual. They seemed to be checking everyone carefully. At one checkpoint, a scanner was stopping people at random. What are they looking for? Eun whispered to her brother. I don't know, Ta said, but he had a bad feeling. When they reached the checkpoint, a Doran guard pointed the scanner at them. The machine beeped loudly when it passed over Eun. This one, the guard said, reaching for Ta's sister. Anomaly detected. Jia stepped forward. No, she's just a child. The guard ignored her. The girl will come with us for testing. Ta saw the fear in Yun's eyes. Without thinking, he focused his mind on the scanner in the guard's hand. He could see the energy flowing through it, like glowing lines in his mind. He reached out with his thoughts and twisted those lines. The scanner sparked and shut down. Smoke rose from its side. System reset required, the guard said, looking confused. He waved them through. Move along. They hurried away, Jia holding Eun's hand tightly. Tai felt dizzy from the effort, but relieved. They didn't notice the woman watching them from behind a market stall. That night, as they ate dinner, someone knocked on their apartment door. Jia answered it cautiously. A tall man with kind eyes stood there. My name is Han, he said quietly. I need to speak with your son. Who are you? Jia asked, blocking the doorway. Someone who wants to help, Han replied, and someone who can protect your son from what's coming. Ta joined his mother at the door. What do you mean? Han looked around nervously. The Dorans have detected unusual activity in this area. They're doing a building-by-building search. They're looking for someone who can interfere with their technology. He looked directly at Ta. Someone like you. Tai felt cold fear spread through him. How do you know about me? We've been tracking anomalies in Doran systems for months. Today at the market, our people saw what you did. Han lowered his voice. I'm with the resistance. We fight against the Dorans, and we need your help. Before Tai could answer, alarms blared outside. Through the window, they saw Doran ships surrounding their building. They're here, Han said urgently. We don't have much time. Jia looked terrified. What do they want with my son? Your son has a gift, Han explained quickly. He can affect Doran technology with his mind. We don't know how, but he can. And they figured it out too. More alarms sounded. Lights from Doran ships swept across their windows. We need to go now, Han said. He opened his bag and pulled out 3 small devices. Put these on. They will hide your body heat from Doran scanners. Ta looked at his mother and sister. We have to trust him. Han led them to the service stairs. Instead of going down, they went up to the roof. There, a small group of people waited by a hidden door that led to the neighboring building. This way, a woman said. Quickly. They moved from building to building across the rooftops. From above, they could see Doran forces entering their apartment building. Finally, they reached a dead end. Han moved a ventilation unit, revealing a ladder that went down into darkness. These tunnels run under the old subway system. he explained. The Dorans don't know about them. They climbed down into the dark tunnel. After walking for what felt like hours, they came to a large underground room filled with people and equipment. Maps covered the walls. Computers hummed in the corner. A woman with short gray hair approached them. She had a strong face and eyes that missed nothing. "I'm Dr. Kim," she said. "Welcome to the Resistance." She looked at Todd with intense interest. "So you're the one who's been causing trouble for our visitors." Todd shifted uncomfortably under her gaze. "I don't understand what's happening to me." Dr. Kim nodded. "None of us fully understand it. But we've been studying the Dorans since they arrived. Their technology connects directly to their minds through those neural interfaces they wear. Somehow," she continued, "when you met that crashed Doran, your brain formed a connection to their technology. Your teenage brain is still developing, still flexible, and it adapted in a way adult brains can't." She turned to a large screen showing a map of Seoul. Red dots blinked where Doran forces were searching. "They're looking everywhere for you," Dr. Kim said. "You're the first real threat they faced." Todd looked around the room at the faces of the Resistance fighters. They were watching him with hope in their eyes. "What happens now?" he asked. Dr. Kim smiled slightly. "Now we find out just how powerful you really are. Focus, Ta." "Try again," Dr. Kim said. Tai sat in a small room deep in the Resistance base. In front of him was a Doran device, a small silver sphere that glowed with soft blue light. Sweat ran down his face as he stared at it. 2 weeks had passed since they escaped from their apartment. Every day since then, Ta had trained with Dr. Kim and her team. They were trying to understand his strange powers. "I can't do it," Ta said, leaning back in his chair. His head pounded with pain. "Yes, you can," Dr. Kim insisted. "You did it yesterday." Yesterday, Ta had managed to turn the device on and off 3 times using only his mind. Today, he couldn't make it respond at all. The door opened, and Tae's mother walked in with a cup of water. "That's enough for today," she said firmly. "He needs to rest." Dr. Kim sighed but nodded. "Fine. We'll continue tomorrow." When they were alone, Jia sat next to her son. "How are you feeling?" "Tired," Tai admitted. "And scared. Everyone is counting on me, but I don't know if I can do what they want." His mother took his hand. "You don't have to do anything you don't want to." But Ta knew that wasn't true. The Resistance needed his abilities. Every day, the Dorans tightened their control over the city. People were disappearing. Food was getting scarcer. Someone had to fight back. Later that evening, Ta met with his friends. Sun and Hyun had come to the base with their families after the Dorans questioned them about Ta. "How was training?" Sun asked. Ta shrugged. "Hard. Some days I can control the Doran tech, and some days I can't." "Dr. Kim says they found something that might help," Hyun said. He always seemed to know the latest news around the base. The 3 friends walked to the main control room. Maps and screens covered the walls. People worked at computers or talked in small groups. In the center of the room, Dr. Kim stood with Han and other Resistance leaders. "Ah, Ta," Dr. Kim said when she saw him. "Good timing. We have something for you." She held up a small metal device. It looked like the neural interfaces the Dorans wore on their temples, but smaller and modified. "We captured this from a Doran patrol," Dr. Kim explained. "Our engineers have changed it to work with a human brain. It should help you focus your abilities." Tai stared at the device. "You want me to wear that?" "It's your choice," Han said kindly. "But it could make your powers stronger and more reliable." Tai looked at his friends. Sun looked worried, but Hyun nodded encouragingly. "Will it hurt?" Tai asked. "We don't think so," Dr. Kim replied honestly. "But we've never tested it on a human before." Tae took a deep breath. "Okay, I'll try it." They went to the medical room. Tai sat in a chair while the doctor carefully placed the device on his temple. It felt cold against his skin. "Ready?" Dr. Kim asked. Ta nodded. Dr. Kim pressed a button on her tablet. At first, nothing happened. Then Todd felt a strange tingling where the device touched his skin. Suddenly, his mind seemed to open wide. He could feel every piece of electronics in the room. The lights, the computers, even the watch on Dr. Kim's wrist. He could sense how they worked, how energy flowed through them. Ta. Sun's voice sounded far away. Are you okay? Ta blinked and focused on her face. I can see it, he whispered. I can see everything. Dr. Kim quickly ran tests. On a screen, they could see Ta's brain activity. It showed patterns similar to Doran neural signatures. Amazing, she said. Your brain is adapting to their technology. Over the next few days, Ta learned to control his new abilities. With the modified neural interface, he could turn Doran devices on and off easily. He could read data from their systems. He could even send simple commands to unprotected Doran technology. The Resistance began planning small missions. They would test Ta's abilities in the field. His first real mission came a week later. A group of humans had been captured and were being held in a Doran processing center. The Resistance needed to free them. The night before the mission, Em found her brother sitting alone. Are you scared? She asked, sitting beside him. Yes, Tai admitted. I'm scared too, she said. But I know you can do this. She held his hand, and Tai felt calmer. Something about his sister's presence always helped him focus his abilities. As they sat together, Han approached with serious news. The Dorans have brought in a special commander, he said. His name is Vex. He's been sent specifically to find you. Ta. Why me? Tai asked. Because, Han said gravely, you're the one thing they never expected. A human who can fight them with their own technology. Ta looked at his sister, then back at Han. When do we start? Tomorrow, Han replied. Get some rest. You'll need it. That night, as Tai tried to sleep, he thought about how much had changed. 6 months had passed since the Dorans first came to Earth. In that time, Tai and the Resistance had completed many successful missions. They had freed prisoners, stolen supplies, and damaged Doran equipment. Each time, Ta's strange power to control Doran technology was the key to their success. But things were changing. Tai sat in a small room with Dr. Kim, watching a screen that showed a Doran announcement. A tall, silver-skinned figure spoke to the camera. I am Commander Vex, the Doran said. I bring a message to the human resistance. Your attacks have been noticed. Your methods are understood. We will find you, and we will stop you. Dr. Kim turned off the screen. He's looking for you, Ta. Tai touched the neural interface on his temple. He had worn it for months now, and sometimes it felt like part of him. Can they track this? No, Dr. Kim assured him. We've modified it too much. But they know someone is interfering with their systems. Just then, Han rushed into the room. We have a problem. The Dorans have changed their security codes. Our last team couldn't get past their barriers. This was bad news. Until now, Ta had been able to break through any Doran security system. If they had found a way to block him, the Resistance would lose its advantage. They're adapting to you, Dr. Kim said, looking worried. We need to test your abilities against their new systems. Later that day, the Resistance team brought in a newly captured Doran security unit. Ta sat before it, focusing his mind on breaking into its systems. Nothing happened. Try harder, Dr. Kim urged. Ta closed his eyes. He pushed his thoughts against the Doran machine, searching for a way in. Pain shot through his head, but he kept pushing. Suddenly, something gave way. Ta felt his mind slip through a crack in the security. Information flooded into his brain. Doran words, numbers, and images. When he opened his eyes, the machine was active, its screen showing Doran text. I did it, Ta said weakly, but it was much harder than before. That night, Ta couldn't sleep. His head throbbed with pain. Strange dreams filled his mind. Dreams of Doran ships and alien worlds. Sometimes he found himself thinking in the Doran language without meaning to. His mother noticed the change in him. "You're different," she said over breakfast. "You hardly talk anymore." "I'm fine," Ta said, but he knew it wasn't true. The more he used his powers, the more he felt something changing inside him. The line between his mind and Doran technology was blurring. That afternoon, the resistance leaders called an emergency meeting. Doran patrols had been spotted near their base. They needed to move immediately. "We have a safe house across the city," Han explained. "We'll split into small groups. Tai, you'll come with me, Dr. Kim, and your family." As they prepared to leave, Sun pulled Tai aside. "Be careful," she said. "Commander Vex has been seen in our district. They say he never fails to catch what he's hunting." Ta nodded. "I'll see you at the safe house." Han led Ta's group through the underground tunnels. They emerged in an old shopping district, now mostly abandoned. They had to cross 2 main streets to reach the safe house. Just as they reached the first street, 3 Doran patrol ships appeared overhead. Searchlights swept the ground. "They're looking for us," Dr. Kim whispered. "We need a distraction." Ta stepped forward. "I can do it." Before anyone could stop him, Ta focused on the nearest patrol ship. He pushed harder than ever before, forcing his mind into its systems. The ship's lights flickered. Then its engines sputtered and died. The ship dropped from the sky and crashed into an empty building. The other ships immediately turned toward the crash. In the confusion, Han led the group across the street and into an alley. Ta followed, but something strange was happening. His vision blurred. He could suddenly see through every Doran camera and sensor in the area. For a moment, he saw the entire city as the Dorans saw it, a grid of energy and information. And somewhere in that grid was another presence, a mind unlike the others, cold and calculating. Commander Vex had sensed Ta's intrusion into the Doran network, and now he knew exactly what he was looking for. "Run," Ta gasped. "He's found us." The new safe house was smaller than their old base. It was an old hotel underground parking garage that the resistance had converted. People slept on cots between concrete pillars. The air smelled damp and stale. Tai sat with his mother and Dr. Kim, planning their next move. Most of their group had made it safely, but not everyone. "Yun should have been here by now," Jia said, her voice shaking. "Her group left before ours." Tai felt a cold fear grip his heart. His sister was missing. "Han is still looking," Dr. Kim said. "He'll find her." But when Han returned hours later, his face told them everything before he spoke. "Yun's group was intercepted," he said quietly. 2 people escaped and reached another safe house. They said several people were captured, including Yun. Jia covered her mouth to stop a cry. Ta stood up quickly. "Where did they take her?" he demanded. "We think to the central processing facility," Han replied. "It's where they take people for questioning." "Then that's where I'm going," Ta said. Dr. Kim shook her head. "It's too dangerous. That facility is their most secure location." "I don't care," Ta said. "She's my sister." That night, while everyone slept, Ta packed a small bag. He had decided to go alone. He wouldn't risk anyone else's life. As he prepared to leave, he heard a sound behind him. "You're not going without us," Sun said. She and Hyun stepped out of the shadows. "How did you know?" Ta asked. Hyun smiled slightly. "We know you, Ta. You're brave, but sometimes stupid." "We're your friends," Sun added. "We're coming with you." Ta wanted to argue, but the truth was he needed help. And these were the 2 people he trusted most besides his family. "Okay," he finally said, "but we tell no one." They slipped out of the safe house using a service tunnel. Above ground, the night air was cool. Doran patrol ships moved across the sky like silent shadows. "The processing facility is 5 kilometers east," Hyun said. He had studied the resistance maps carefully. "But there are checkpoints along the way." "I can handle the checkpoints," Ta said, touching his neural interface. They moved through the dark streets, hiding whenever patrols passed. Twice they encountered Doran checkpoints. Each time, Ta used his abilities to shut down their scanners just long enough to slip past. But the effort drained him. By the time they reached the facility, his head pounded with pain. The processing facility was a massive building surrounded by energy barriers. Doran guards patrolled the perimeter. Hovering drones watched from above. Now what? Sun whispered as they crouched behind an abandoned car. Tai studied the building. He could sense the complex security systems. Then he noticed something odd. A part of the system seemed deliberately weak. "It's too easy," Ta said slowly. "That entrance is barely guarded." "Maybe they're short on guards," Hyun suggested. But Ta shook his head. "No, it's a trap." He could feel it. "They're expecting me." "Then we go back and get help," Sun said. "No," Tai replied. "We go in, but we know it's a trap." Ta used his abilities to create a distraction on the opposite side of the facility. Alarms blared as security systems reported a breach. Guards rushed to respond. The three friends slipped through the weakly guarded entrance. Inside, they found long corridors with cells on either side. Many held humans, people captured by the Dorans for questioning or labor. "Eun," Ta called softly as they moved past the cells. "Eun, where are you?" A small voice answered from a cell at the end. "Ta, is that you?" They ran to the cell. Un stood there, her face pale but unharmed. With her were several other captured teenagers. "I knew you'd come," she said. Ta used his abilities to override the lock. The cell door slid open. As Un stepped out, they heard slow clapping from behind them. A tall Doran in a commander's uniform stood there. His silver skin seemed to glow in the dim light. The neural interface on his temple was larger and more complex than any Tai had seen before. "Well done," Commander Vex said. His voice was deep and smooth. "You are exactly what I expected. A human child with an extraordinary mind." Guards appeared at both ends of the corridor, blocking their escape. "Let them go," Ta said, stepping forward. "It's me you want." Commander Vex tilted his head, studying Ta with black eyes that revealed nothing. "You're right," he said, "but I'm curious. Do you even understand what you are? What you can do?" Ta didn't answer. He was gathering his strength, preparing to attack the Doran systems. Commander Vex seemed to sense this. He smiled slightly. "Before you try something unwise," he said, "perhaps you should know why we came to Earth in the first place." Commander Vex led Tai and his friends to a large room deep inside the facility. Guards stood at the doors, but they weren't treated like prisoners. Un stayed close to her brother, holding his hand tightly. "I could have killed you many times," Vex said as he sat across from them at a metal table. "But that was never our goal." "Then what is your goal?" Tai asked. "Why did you invade our planet?" Vex touched the neural interface on his temple. A hologram appeared above the table, showing a DNA strand that slowly rotated in the air. "This is Doran DNA," Vex explained. "And this." The image changed to show another DNA strand. "This is what our DNA will look like in 3 generations." The second strand had obvious breaks and missing pieces. "Our species is dying," Vex said simply. "Each new generation of Dorans is born with weaker neural connections. Soon, our brains will fail completely." Ta stared at the hologram. "What does this have to do with Earth?" "Everything," Vex replied. "We searched the galaxy for a solution. When we found Earth, we discovered something unique about humans." He looked directly at Ta, "particularly young humans." The hologram changed again to show a brain scan. "This is your brain," Vex said. "We took this scan when you entered the building." Ta's brain glowed with unusual activity patterns, especially in areas connected to the neural interface. "Human teenagers have incredible neural plasticity. Your brains are still developing, still forming connections. When you touched Krell's neural interface after his crash, your brain did something our scientists thought impossible. It adapted to our technology. Sun leaned forward. Are you saying you invaded Earth just to study our brains? To save our species, Vex corrected. The atmospheric conversion project you've been fighting against isn't meant to harm Earth. It's designed to create conditions that will slow our neural degradation while we find a permanent solution. Tai felt confused. Everything he thought he knew was being challenged. But people have disappeared, Han said angrily. Humans have died. Vex lowered his head slightly. Yes, there have been casualties. War always brings death. He looked at Tai again. But it doesn't have to continue. Just then, the door burst open. Han and a team of resistance fighters stormed in, weapons raised. Behind them came Dr. Kim and Tai's mother. Get away from them, Jia shouted, rushing to her children. Dr. Kim pointed a captured Doran weapon at Commander Vex. Step back. Vex remained calm. Your rescue is unnecessary. We were just talking. Han looked at Ta. Are you all right? Did they hurt you? No, Ta said slowly. They were explaining things. Over the next hour, Commander Vex repeated his explanation to the resistance leaders. He showed them data and medical files that supported his claims about the Doran condition. The resistance team was divided. Some, like Dr. Kim, wanted to hear more. Others, like Han, didn't trust anything the Dorans said. May I see the data about the atmospheric conversion? Dr. Kim asked. Vex nodded and brought up more holograms. Dr. Kim studied them carefully, her face growing more concerned. This would make our air unbreathable for humans, she finally said, within 20 years. Vex didn't deny it, a necessary sacrifice for the greater good. Your greater good, Han said coldly. Ta had been quiet, processing everything. Now he spoke up. There has to be another way. What do you mean? Vex asked. If my brain can adapt to your technology, maybe there's a way to use that connection to help your people without destroying ours. Tai turned to Dr. Kim. Could we create some kind of technology that copies what my brain does, instead of changing Earth's atmosphere? Dr. Kim looked thoughtful. Theoretically, maybe, if we understood exactly how your neural adaptation works. I want to see all the research, Ta said to Vex. Everything you know about why my brain works with your technology. Vex studied him for a long moment. Then he made a decision. Very well. A temporary truce while we explore this possibility. Not everyone was happy with this plan. Many resistance fighters didn't trust the Dorans. Many Dorans didn't want to work with humans. But Tai understood something important. Sometimes the youngest minds see solutions that others miss. His teenage brain, the very thing that made him valuable as a weapon, might now be the key to peace. As they left the facility under the terms of the truce, Ta looked back at Commander Vex. Both knew the hard part was just beginning. 2 weeks after the truce began, Ta worked day and night with both human and Doran scientists. They set up a joint lab in a neutral building. Dr. Kim led the human team, while Commander Vex supervised the Doran scientists. Ta spent hours connected to machines that scanned his brain while he used his abilities. It was tiring work, but he didn't complain. Too much depended on finding a solution. We're making progress, Dr. Kim told him one evening as he rested. Your brain creates unique patterns when it connects to Doran technology. We might be able to copy these patterns. But there was a problem. The atmospheric conversion device was almost ready. The Doran High Command, who ruled from the main ship above Earth, were growing impatient. They didn't believe in the joint research project and wanted to activate the device soon. We're running out of time, Vex admitted to Tai and Dr. Kim. My superiors have given us 1 week. After that, they will start the conversion process. That night, Tai couldn't sleep. He paced around the lab, looking at the data they had collected. There had to be an answer somewhere. As the sun rose, Tai called everyone together. He had an idea. The atmospheric device doesn't have to be permanent, he said. What if we reprogram it to create a temporary change? Something that would help the Dorans for about a year, but then return to normal. Dr. Kim looked surprised. That could work. It would buy us time to develop the neural technology solution. Vex nodded slowly. My people would still get relief, and Earth would remain habitable for humans. But Ta continued, someone would need to connect directly to the device's core systems to reprogram it. Someone with my abilities. The room went quiet. Everyone understood what Tai was saying. He would have to risk his life by forming a deep connection with the alien machine. No, Jia said firmly when she heard the plan. It's too dangerous. Your mother is right, Dr. Kim agreed. The neural feedback could permanently damage your brain. But Ta had made up his mind. If we don't do this, both our species will suffer. The Dorans will die out, or humans will lose their planet. I have to try. The plan came together quickly. A small team would enter the conversion facility, which was hidden beneath an old stadium in the center of the city. They would fight their way to the core room, where Ta would connect to the device and reprogram it. The team included both humans and Dorans who supported the truce. Han would lead the human fighters. Vex would command the Doran allies. Tai insisted that his friends Sun and Hyun come too, along with his sister Eun. Eun helps me focus, he explained when others questioned bringing a 12-year-old girl on such a dangerous mission. The night before the operation, Tai sat with his mother. I'm scared, he admitted. Jia held her son close. You've always been special, Ta. Not just because of what happened with the Doran technology. You've always seen solutions others miss. The next morning, they moved out. The joint team entered the tunnels that ran beneath the city. When they reached the facility, alarms immediately sounded. The Doran High Command had discovered Vex's betrayal. We need to hurry, Vex said as enemy guards approached from all directions. Han's fighters engaged them, creating a path forward. The team fought their way deeper into the facility. Both humans and Dorans fell in the fierce battle. Finally, they reached the core room. Inside stood the massive conversion device, a tower of gleaming metal and pulsing energy that reached from floor to ceiling. Cover the doors, Han ordered. Give Tai as much time as possible. Tai approached the tower. He could feel its power washing over him like waves. At its base was a neural interface port, much larger than any he had seen before. Once you connect, Vex warned, you'll have 10 minutes at most before the feedback becomes dangerous. Ta nodded. He looked at his sister, who gave him a brave smile. I'll be right here, Yun said. Tai took a deep breath and placed his hand on the interface port. The world around him disappeared in a rush of light and information. The final battle for Earth's future had begun. Inside the conversion device, Ta found himself in a world of pure information. Data flowed around him like a river. He could see the device's programming, complex patterns of energy that controlled how it would change Earth's atmosphere. But he wasn't alone. I've been waiting for you, said a familiar voice. A figure appeared in the data stream. It was Krell, the Doran Ta had helped after the crash so many months ago. Krell, how are you here? Tai asked, surprised. I was chosen to merge with the device, Krell explained. My mind controls its functions. In the physical world, the battle raged outside the core room. Han and Vex's forces fought against loyal Doran guards. Eun, Sun, and Hyun stayed near Ta's body, which stood motionless, connected to the machine. We're losing ground, Han shouted as more enemy forces arrived. Inside the data world, Tai explained his plan to Krell. It could work, Krell agreed after examining Ta's proposed changes. But we must hurry. The High Command has ordered the device to activate. Together, they began rewriting the device's programming. It was delicate work. One mistake could destroy the machine, or worse, cause it to malfunction in dangerous ways. As they worked, Tai felt pain building in his mind. The connection was taking its toll. You need to disconnect soon, Krell warned. Your brain cannot handle this strain much longer. Not until we finish, Tai insisted. In the core room, Eun noticed blood beginning to drip from her brother's nose. "Something's wrong," she cried. Dr. Kim checked Ta's vital signs on a portable monitor. "His brain activity is off the charts. We need to pull him out." "Wait," Commander Vex said, watching the device's display. "He's almost done." Inside the data world, Tai and Krell reached the final stage of reprogramming. "It's time for activation," Krell said. "But there's a problem. The High Command has locked the system. We need an override code." Suddenly, the data world shook violently. The High Command had discovered what they were doing and were trying to take control remotely. "They're shutting us out," Krell said urgently. "And they've started the self-destruct sequence." Tai thought quickly. "Your neural pattern might have access. You're part of the system." Krell hesitated, then nodded. "I can try, but it will destroy my consciousness." "There must be another way," Ta said. "There isn't," Krell replied sadly. "This is my choice." Before Tai could stop him, Krell merged his consciousness with the core programming. Access codes appeared, allowing Ta to complete the changes. "Thank you," Ta said. Krell's form began to fade. "Remember this day," he said. "Remember that one Doran gave his life to save 2 worlds." Then he was gone. Tai finished the reprogramming just as the pain became unbearable. The device hummed to life, its energy changing from red to blue. Ta felt himself being pulled back to his physical body. He opened his eyes to see his sister's worried face. "It's done," he whispered before collapsing. Hours later, Ta awoke in a medical bed. His mother sat beside him, holding his hand. Dr. Kim and Commander Vex stood nearby. "Did it work?" Tai asked weakly. Vex nodded. "Yes, the atmospheric change has begun, but as you designed it, it will only last for 1 year. And," Ta hesitated, "Krell." "Gone," Vex said quietly, "but not forgotten." Over the following days, strange lights filled Earth's skies as the atmosphere temporarily changed. The Doran High Command, seeing that most of their own people supported the truce, finally agreed to negotiations. Tai recovered slowly. The connection had damaged some neural pathways in his brain. He could no longer interface directly with Doran technology. But something new had taken its place, an ability to understand both human and Doran thinking in ways no one else could. 1 year later, Ta stood with his family and friends watching the sky as the atmosphere returned to normal. Earth was safe, and thanks to the research that continued after the truce, the Dorans had found a technological solution to their neural problem. Vex approached Ta at the celebration that followed. "Our scientists have created artificial neural interfaces based on your brain patterns," he said. "The next generation of Dorans will survive because of you." Ta smiled. "Not just because of me, because humans and Dorans finally worked together." Nearby, Sun and Hyun were talking with young Dorans their age. Hyun was showing a Doran child how to play a human game. "The adults fought the war," Ta said, watching them. "But it was the young who found peace." As the Doran ships prepared to leave Earth, Ta looked up at the clear blue sky. Humanity's most powerful weapon had turned out to be not a gun or a bomb, but the mind of a teenager who could see beyond the conflict to a future where both species survived.